My name is Markus Reiterer. I'm the Secretary General of the Alpine Convention. The Alpine Convention is what I call an unconventional treaty. It's a treaty bringing together the 8 Alpine countries and the European Union for the sustainable development of the whole region. Now, when we talk about the Alps, you might have pictures of nice high mountains in Switzerland or Austria or Italy or one of those places. But what it actually is, it's a space of roughly 200,000 square kilometers with roughly 15 million people living in there, finding their livelihoods there. So it's an economic space, a cultural space, it's a space for development, it's a space with a lot of challenges in terms of nature protection, in terms of climate change issues, and so on and so forth. So when we're talking about the Alps, we're talking about a very varied region. We have a lot of topics that we work on, from soil protection over agriculture in the mountains, but also population and culture, climate change, and many other issues. The Alps are also known as a tourism place. 100,000 million people visit the Alps every year. And what we have found out in the last years is that those people tend to stay shorter and shorter, which means that they have to go in and out of the Alps more often, which again increases risks of, increases the CO2 emissions and so on and so forth. So for us there is a challenging area with a lot of potential, but a lot of issues that we have to take care of. And we see in our region the effects of climate change almost on a daily basis. We see the glaciers reclining, we see the permafrost areas getting smaller and smaller, we see patterns of biodiversity changing, we see more and more natural risks, natural disasters, landslide, mudslides, going into an area which is densely populated. Because due to the mountainous surroundings, it's very hard. You cannot use all the areas because it's too high to live there. So basically, the density is very high, and the risks are getting greater and greater. So we need to adapt to climate change. We're doing this through all different methods, like an action plan that we're having. We're trying to plan our houses in a way that they're not in risky areas. And a number of many other measures that we're doing. We've seen also in the last couple of years a number of initiatives to highlight more mountainous, or the challenges of mountainous regions in these processes, like the COP19 here in Warsaw. And I can only say that there are very high hopes that COP19 may pave the way for a new agreement, may pave the way for a new engagement of the world to tackle climate change.
You say you're already seeing the effects of climate change in the Alps. I mean, surely it's impossible to say yet whether it's actually climate change.
Well, we are seeing increasing patterns. If the permafrost in the summit areas is diminishing and diminishing over the years, and this is combined with an increase in the average temperature. If we see the glaciers receding dramatically, now if you walk up to some of these glaciers, for example, there is a nice mountain refuge somewhere in the Alps that used to stand until like 100 years ago. It used to stand exactly on the bank of the glacier. They basically used the glacier as a refrigerator for their hut. Now the glacier is more than 200 meters away from this hut because it receded so dramatically. And this is what I mean, we see the effects of climate change already in our region. And what it means if the glaciers are receding, it also means that our water reservoir that we need for drinking water in the region is also receding. The water is getting less and less. And we will have to find ways how to address these issues to make sure that the generations after us can actually find their own livelihood in our region as well.
And how can you help other mountainous regions around the world?
We have close cooperations, for example, with our sister convention, the Carpathian Convention. So Also, of course, it's worth to talk about the Carpathians a little bit also in Warsaw, because that's one of the members is, of course, Poland. And we have also close cooperations with other mountain areas around the world. The Pyrenees, we are starting more and more getting active in the Andes as well. I'm looking very much forward for further progress on the issues also at the meeting next year in Lima, which is very close to another mountain range that we have very dear to our hearts.